Liberians. When you try to build Liberia, when you try to build a country like Liberia, or calling you American colonizers. Think about that. There's some that don't even see. There's some that don't even see. They call you. Most of them we refuse to even call us African American. They be calling us Black Americans. They don't even see us as one of them anymore. In fact, some of them don't even respect us because we was slaves. Our ancestors, not us, but our ancestors. Some of them call them cotton pickers. Come on. It's all good. I believe in blackness. I believe in black people all over the world, no matter if you're from Africa, America, Asia, Europe. I believe in unity. But at the same time, let's not get it twisted, man. Let's not get it twisted. You know? You're a part of the African diaspora. You're not African. It's that simple. Diaspora means that fact is the ancestors came from that Egypt, that part of Africa. That's it. But as far as you being African, you're not. You're not. The diaspora is similar to empire, like the British Empire, stuff like that. But as far as you're not. And another thing, I'm tired of some of you so-called pro Pan-Africans shitting on West Africa. I'm tired of that. That's another reason why this guy thinks that's a race. Because this guy, when I told him that, yo, Africa, the name, and he told me that we don't call ourselves Negroid race because that's a white term. And I told him that, well, Africa's a white term too. What's the point? He tells me, the name came from Afri. And I looked it up, and it means North Africa. So basically, you on to this point where you think that all black people have started in Egypt and went down to the rest of the continent of Africa. No, motherfucker. And we ain't started Egypt. We started in Ethiopia, and we spread it outward, including the whole human civilization. And if you still think that I'm African because I'm black with curly with kinky hair, then everybody in the world is African because the whole human civilization started in Africa. But I don't hear these same guys who call me African call white people or Asian people or whoever people from the Mongoloid race people African. I don't hear it. How is that? How is that you call me that, but you can't call other people the Mongoloid race, which means Asians from Far East Asia and Native Americans or Caucasoid people who a race who's mostly from Europe and Middle East. You don't call them Africans, and yet our whole species was started in Africa. That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. I know some of you are going to be offended, and some of you are going to be like, oh, this is another guy who wants to be like Raven Simone and try to deny that he's African-American. No, because the fact is, I was born in America. I am black. And every time, and when you put that hyphenate on my name, you basically say I'm not a citizen. That's what you're saying. You say I'm an immigrant. Get that? Don't get it twisted. All right? Don't get it twisted. I never deny my blackness, but you can't sit up here and tell me that I'm from a continent I'm not from. My ancestors came from over there, not me. I was born here in America. And if we want to fight racism, that's not the way you do it. That's not the way you do it. It's all it's not that's the way you do it. Put African American, you just divided yourself even more from other Americans. You just did it. You just did it right there. How can we fight against racism and against discrimination, against culturalism and tribalism and all that stuff, and yet you yourself is putting a hyphenation in front of your name, in front of your nation, the nationality you're from? How? You can't. It's already crazy enough that we call ourselves Black Americans instead of just saying that we Americans who happen to be black. But at least I could deal with that than dealing with saying that putting a whole continent in front of my nationality. That makes no sense to me. We can still, as black people, still have have pride in African heritage. We can still do it. But at the end of the day, if we want to be known as Americans, we gotta act like Americans. We gotta demand we treat like Americans, because our ancestors, you know what I'm saying, who actually came on those slave ships, if you're a black American, actually helped build this country for free. Don't you understand that? And then the last thing we need to be called is something like that. And another thing, this guy keeps saying that white Americans, if they call themselves of English descent, that means they call themselves English European. No, it don't. Why would, get this right, let's get this straight. Why would a bunch of white Americans whose ancestors probably fought in the Revolutionary War to make the United States of America independent from England, turn around and call themselves English European? Why would they do that? What was the point? There's a reason why they call themselves Americans. And because the fact is, ancestors fought in the Revolutionary War to make this country independent. And guess what? It wasn't just white people that actually was in that Revolutionary War fighting either. It was fucking free blacks fighting amongst them too. Yeah, I know that America still had slaves, and I know my ancestors still were slaves at that time. But it was free blacks that was fighting amongst white people to make America independent from England. Come on. I was born and raised here in Brooklyn, New York. Brookdale Hospital, Brownsville section of Brooklyn. I was born here. I don't know. I ain't never stepped in the foot in Africa in my life. And I would like to go because this is where most of my ancestors came from. But like I said, if you're going to call me an African, then you got to call me a European too. And I guarantee you, none of these guys who call me African would never call me a European. This is why I do not want to hear it. Because this is basically on some oh yeah, this, come on. You'll never hear it. And I'm not going to call myself European anyway. Because I'm not. I don't care if my third great grandfather was of English descent. I don't care if my mother's side had Irish on that side, which was why my mother's side Latin maiden name is Griffin. I don't care. I'm not European, and I'm not African. I'm not. I'm American. This is where I hold my citizenship at. North America is where I was born and raised. And if you don't like it, then tough. I refuse to put African American. No, I refuse that. Black American, yes. American, yes. No, I'm not going to put a whole continent in front of my name, man, and make it seem like I'm an immigrant. I'm not going to do that. And I don't like when other people do that, too. Mexican American. You born here, you're Mexican American. You ain't no Mexican American. You're American, man. And another thing, the reason why I don't like calling myself African American, because most other black people don't even call themselves that when they come to this country. You got people from the Caribbean, black as me, who if you say they're African American, they look at you like you're a fool. No, I'm not African American. I'm West Indian. I'm a Caribbean American. So now they thinking that it's just an ethnic group, even though their ancestors came from Africa too. Come on. Let's stop the nonsense, man. We want to stop racism and discrimination. We gotta really show that we are Americans just like everybody else. We can still have pride in our African heritage. We can still be proud of being black. But at the end of the day, if you want to be treated as equal in this country, we gotta start saying that you're American, man. Stop being, and stop this nonsense. You can't have it both ways, man. It's not gonna work. You can't tell you're African American and then get mad when a white racist say go back to Africa. You can't get mad. Why are you gonna get mad at that? Why? You call yourself African American. Why you should get mad if a racist white say, go back to Africa? When you wasn't even born in there. You was born over here. Why you get mad? I see people get mad about that. Well, if you call yourself, you could go back to Africa, you need to go back to Europe. But you call yourself African American. You basically just said you put a hyphen in front of your name. African hyphen American. Come on. Stop the nonsense. And I know why a lot of people get mad, got mad on Ray Simone, because she thought, a lot of them thought that when she said she's not African American, she said she ain't black. And she turned around and said that no, I didn't say I wasn't black. I just said I wasn't African because I'm not from that continent. So same thing with it was another actor who said the same thing. And they were out of the money. You 500 years you've been over here. You've been over here. Your ancestors been over here 500 years. You gonna turn around? Come on, man. Come on. Let's stop it. Morgan Freeman said the same thing. He said this political correctness stuff, it's got to go. He said, all of a sudden I became an African. He said political correctness is African American. He said, you're not African. And it's true. Now, if he said he wasn't black, or if it wasn't a Negro race, then that'd be a different story. But I'm not denying my blackness. All right? And black is just a color anyway. So let's stop the nonsense, man. You can't turn around and say you want to be treated equal in this country and then turn around and say you're African American. You can't do it. That makes you look way more like you're not even a true American. You're not an American citizen at all. And another thing, to y'all fools out there who think that Native Americans are the real Americans, you're stupid as fuck. First of all, there was no such thing as America before Europeans showed up. All right? And the African slaves showed up here. There was no such thing as America before that. There was no such thing as that. Before the Europeans showed up and the African slaves showed up, there was no such thing as America. Or the free blacks that came from Africa. There was no such thing as America. Once the Europeans and the free blacks and the black African slaves came here, that's when Christopher Columbus, whatever he did, that nonsense stuff he did, that's when the name of America had showed up. That's when the name came up. The indigenous people that we call Native Americans in America was living in tribes. They were living in tribes. Let's get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. They were living in tribes. Just like all the Africa was living in tribes and kingdoms. There was no such thing as Africa. Don't get it twisted. The reason why the name Africa is here, just like America, is because the Europeans came through and started colonizing the damn thing. That's why. All those names that you see on the continent, the Europeans came up with the continents thing. They came up with the continents. Was it right? No, it wasn't right. I think that a lot of people who came from Europe, you know what I'm saying, did a lot of bad things in this world, and alternate the whole damn world with continents and drawing lines in the dirt, making countries out of countries that shouldn't be made, like Iraq. That was a country that the English put together, put different sets of Muslims together. So but I'm just saying that this is the facts. The only thing is the Americas before other groups of people showed up on this land. So stop saying that they are true Americans, because that's not the case. They just native to this land. That's it. They just native to this land. All right? Stop getting it twisted. Stop thinking that America is a race, and Africa is a race, and Asia is a race. It's not a race. Because if that's the case, why do Far East Asians and West Asians look different from each other? You ever notice that too? Oh, you don't know that? What, Arabs look like Chinese people? Oh, really? They do? Because if that's a race, why they look different from each other? They're not the same race. Arabs belong in the Caucasoid race of the Semitics division. And the Chinese and Japanese and the Koreans, they belong in the Mongoloid race. Like the Native Americans. because Native Americans came from Asia